talking like you know all this shit, and he just got his fucking ass handed to him by this dude named Wesley Huff. So, you know, I'm hearing this, and he's like, "Yo, I got a dude I used to work with him. Yo, we can get him on the show." And I'm like, "All right, so let me do my due diligence." But before I even got to do my due diligence, somebody was in my DM on IG bringing this shit up, talking about, "Yo, Billy Carson just got, you know what I mean? He just got his ass whooped by Wesley Huff." But then they was hoping that now Wes Huff would go talk to Wesley Muhammad or even Farrakhan or something like that, right? So I said, let me check this shit out. So I went and watched the fucking debate between these guys. And I'm like, oh, I know this guy, Billy Carson. I've seen him online before. One of those energies that, you know, when you first see him, it's kind of like, I'm not sure about this guy. And yeah, the more I watch, the more I feel like I was, what I kind of felt about him was being affirmed as I watched it. So anyway, first let's bring my man Jamaar Milton up here as the co-correspondent to what we're doing today. What's good, my brother? Peace.
Peace.
How you, King?
You already know what it is, man. We got to do what we got to do. This is
yeah. You know, you're a lot more acquainted with this guy. Oh shit, we got Dr. Ma'at in the house. Peace, Queen.
Peace.
I see you, Dr. Ma'at. Uh-huh. Oh shit, we got the heavyweights in here. This must be a big conversation, like you said.
I told you.
For the conscious community, this is gonna be big. I said, okay, let's fucking do it. So yeah, so talk to me a little bit before we bring our esteemed guest Anton Wisbiski on here, who he was a former business associate of Mr. Carson. He knows the inner workings of what's going on behind the curtain.
From what I hear, he's the guy that set up the interview. So he's worked closely with Billy for quite some time.
He set up the interview that brought the debate together.
Correct. Between
because the guy who was the host, I'm not gonna lie, he seemed a little
uninformed.
Yeah, a little airheadish to me. He didn't seem as informed as his guests. And every time he spoke, I found myself forwarding, like, shut the fuck up, let these guys talk. You know what I mean? Especially let this guy Wes talk. And I just want to say thank you for introducing me to Mr. Huff, because not that I agree with this whole stance on Christianity, but I very much am into his scholarship and how his
methodology
and his standards, okay, for study. And I wish all of us would have these same standards. If we did, this whole flat earth thing wouldn't even be a fucking issue. But anyway, so just briefly, fill the people in on who Anton is, and let's bring him on so we can get to the get down.
Yeah, so Anton is the initial guy who set up the interview. He's worked closely with Billy for a number of years, according to him. So they have a personal relationship. We're going to hear more from him straight from the horse's mouth. However, he's the one who brought these stories forward. I like to get things straight from source. I don't like to do gossip when we're dealing with stuff like this, when we have access to individuals who will give you the story straight up. So we might as well just bring him right on board and let him tell us what's going on, because he's got a lot to share, and I have a lot to double down on with as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Godcast, Anton Wisbiski. Peace.
Peace.
How are you, brother?
I'm
good to
pretty
have
good.
you
It's been a long couple weeks, but I'm good.
Okay. So
how are you guys?
Why don't you give the people a background of who you are, your connection to Mr. Carson, and I'm not gonna lie, like I said in the description, more than his scholarship has come into question, I'm hearing allegations of words like grifter and con man being thrown around. So let's really dig into this, man. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, man. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's kind of breaking up from my end.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool.
Trap,
Yeah, I mean, I've known
let us
Billy,
know if you can hear him fine.
I've known Billy for a while. And man, he's just not who he says he is, you know? And I used to be friends with his girlfriend, and we did some breathwork stuff, and man, it breaks my heart to see what this has all become. Not because he's a bad dude, but he's done some very questionable things, man. So yeah, you know, I've been. It all started cool until he sent me a cease and desist for no reason. Like all I did was set up the interview. Like
Right.
that's all I did. I just set up the interview. I thought it was going to be a healthy conversation, no animosity, no whatever. Like we're just talking. I mean, I wasn't even a part of it, but long story short, I mean, just the way he responded made no sense to me. And from there, I was like, okay, like if you're gonna, you know, my dad, my dad taught me something when I was a kid, man. He said, look, you don't throw the first punch, but if you get punched in the face, you punch back 10 times harder. So my video was a response to that because the Christianity thing is one thing, right? Whatever. Like, you don't got to believe any of that stuff. It's the fraud for me, man.
Mm.
This dude's saying he never went to jail, but then you're on with Dame Dash saying you went to jail. So which is it?
Well,
Which
I
is
heard,
it? And when you go into
I
the
heard he said he's
records,
a Harvard graduate, but then when you look
Not
at the
true.
Billy Carson, that's a Harvard graduate. It's a 70-year-old man who's like a billionaire, and it's not this guy. So who is this guy?
I don't know. I don't know. His past is very questionable. I don't know. I've known him since like 2018, 2019, but we never got into those intimate details. And if you watch JT Pocket Watcher, have you guys seen his stuff?
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of
My
this.
guy,
Yes.
I like JT.
He's cool. He's cool. So he exposes a lot of this too, and I knew that information as well. And man, the guy is just a liar. He's
is
just
that
a
Sarnetta
liar.
up in this bitch? What up, Sarnetta?
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, and then you know he does this interview, right? It wasn't. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't like they weren't arguing. Like it was respectable, right? And
It was
I think
super respectable, but
super
it was bad.
Yeah.
It
Right,
was
right.
respectfully
He got
bad
Wrong.
on his behalf because he looked, you know, he came on there thinking he was going to be the intellectual heavyweight. He thought this was going to be another walk in the park, you know, kind of like what happened when, you know, Ifatunde came on this channel, and he thought that, you know, he was just going to come on here and get donations and not be his feet held to the fire, actually to where are those donations going as they concern your school, sir, which
Right.
you've been trying to put together for more than 10 years and nothing's happened.
Right.
So anyway,
Elephant in the room.
right.
so he came on there with this kind of cocky attitude, and then my man gleefully, respectfully, with a smile, mopped the fucking floor with him. Like, did y'all see this debate, y'all? In the comments,
Dang.
please let me know if y'all saw this debate between Billy Carson and Wes Huff, where this fucking
You owe it to yourself.
this scholarly Christian from Canada, this Canadian Christian came and canonized his, catapulted his whole cataclysm, and he see that I can think of, he did that shit to him, bro. It was crazy.
Now,
Yeah, and that's not even the crazy part, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is crazy, but it's the response afterwards.
Yeah.
You're showing up at this man's house. He's got kids. He
Wait,
called
he showed
me
up at whose
talk about that a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So
He showed up at
Okay,
whose
so-
house?
he showed up at Mark, the host's house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Why?
because he didn't want him to post it.
He realized what had happened afterwards, came back and said, you know what? Don't post that. I just got dragged.
Well, so here's the whole story. So this was filmed in October.
Oh, really?
We filmed this in October.
Wow.
Oh, and it just
So
came out.
we waited out of respect.
Right.
And we tried to set up meetings with him.
Out of respect for what and who?
Out of respect for Billy, because he didn't want us to post it. And when I say us, Mark, right? He didn't want Mark to post it. So Mark was like, hey, well, let's do a follow-up. Let's have another debate. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's sit down and talk about this. And there was no space for that, man. So he just ghosted Mark. And we were like, all right, screw it. Like, we're going to post it. So he posted it. And then that night, he showed up at Mark's door at 2:30 in the morning. I leaked the footage.
and wait, doesn't Mark live in Florida?
Yeah, they live in the same neighborhood. So they live in the same neighborhood.
So why the fuck Mark didn't hit him with the fucking stand my ground law and pop this motherfucker at 2:30 in the morning? You talking about motherfucking
crazy.
Fucking crazy. I'm hitting you with the stand my ground law, baby. Fuck out of here.
He was very calm. But still, it's not the point, right? Like, it's just
that's threatening, bro. You coming to my crib? I don't care how calm you can be threatening and calm. Niggas can threaten your life very calmly. That doesn't mean nothing, nigga. When you come to my crib at 2:30 in the morning with the grievance,
right?
Nigga, you must be ready to get popped.
That's pretty. That was the part that
it's
really
sad,
you must be ready to get popped. And we in Florida.
Yeah,
it's sad because this is the craziest part to me too, guys. So that happens, right? And Mark complied with so he came and then he sent us cease and desist, right? He even sent me a cease and desist as the editor. I'm like, okay,
get out of here, Adrian, pussy.
Literally has nothing to do with anything. So I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Mark complied, took the interview down, but it was already leaked, and that actually made it worse because Mark warned Billy. He was like, dude, if you try to suppress this, it's going to make your case 10 times worse. And that's exactly what happened. So Billy just lost his cool. And then he did a smear campaign. Did you guys see the 3.5 hour stream? Did you guys see that?
I did.
No, but I heard.
Man, he was talking about my ex-wife, which doesn't exist. I was never married.
But you don't have an ex-wife.
I don't have an ex-wife. I have an ex-girlfriend for sure.
About her. Okay.
He was talking about my ex. He was talking about Mark's wife. He was talking about his kids are getting death threats. He was just making up all this stuff. He was saying the interview. I mean, now the interview's out, so everyone can make a judgment on their own. He was saying Wesley was unplugging the interview. I mean, he was just using every excuse in the book. And I'm like, dude, this is really sad to see, but you're doing it to yourself. You're doing it to yourself.
So the initial debate, he agreed to this the day before prior, right? Didn't he say?
Yeah, him and Wesley. Yeah. They both only knew about 24 hours beforehand. Because Mark was like last minute, like, hey, we should get this guy Wesley on, because Wesley started like talking, debunking some of his stuff in the past. So Mark was just kind of preparing and like spur of the moment sent Wesley a DM, and the rest is history.
Did he appear to be out of sorts, like his excuse was in the 3-hour video? Because he was saying like he was on his deathbed, getting ready to die, all these different things. I mean, that doesn't make me forget knowledge, but I'm just saying, like, what made
what? Who was on his deathbed? What?
Billy said he was on his deathbed. Yeah.
So how the what? No, he was in the studio. He wasn't in no bed. What the fuck you talking about?
Man, I don't know.
Was in the studio?
I don't know, man.
That nigga looked healthy as a fucking. What are you talking about?
I mean,
he's on his deathbed. No, that nigga. No, homie puts you on your deathbed. That's what the fuck happened. Mr. Huff put you on your deathbed, and it felt in that moment that you were on a deathbed, but homie put you there. See, let me just tell you, when I'm gonna tell you what initially put homie on my bad terms is when you said, oh yeah, he be on Ancient Aliens. Up. There you go. Yeah. Everybody on Ancient Aliens to me is a piece of shit. Okay? Because that show to me is all about dedicating itself to try to disprove what original people have done.
Yes.
in the
That
past.
is true.
They keep coming up with these suppositions that we didn't have the technology, we didn't have a wheel, we didn't have all this fucking shit that, only now we're the smartest people ever in fucking history, and only now do we have the do we have the fucking technology to do this and that, although we can't do a lot of shit that they did back then technologically. So when if he's on there talking all this ancient alien shit, that shit right there had put me, you know what I mean? Put him on my bad side immediately. You know what I mean? Immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I never liked that fucking show. I said, look at this fucking show. They really they just gonna blame, had to be aliens.
He was actually on Ancient
These
Aliens.
darkies couldn't have done this. These darkies couldn't have had this mathematic. It had to be something given to them by the gods. Listen, they even said it in their oral tradition. And I loved how my man was like, please tell me how you verify oral traditions and shit like that.
Right.
Like, what's your methodology in verifying these so-called oral stories and shit like that?
I do want to bring up something here, because he did say, that he had studied in Harvard. We kind of glazed over a little bit. I want to show the people what he did, exactly what he did at Harvard. If you could share my screen.
Okay.
I want the family to see exactly what he did. There's a free course that's on the Harvard website that any one of you guys can go and log on to right now. You can get a free course.
It's literally free.
It's literally free.
It's
You
literally
just click this
free.
link right here and it takes you right to it. And if you want, even though it's a free course, you can pay an additional $219 and actually get a certificate, which is what he has.
Whoa.
Okay, here, I'll take it a step further.
Whoa.
And this is crazy, right?
So hang on, we
This
can
is
all be
crazy.
Harvard graduates out this
We can all be right. Exactly. That's what I was saying. I was like, damn, I'm about to be a Harvard graduate. Like,
let me find out. Y'all, everybody in the chat, go on and sign up for this shit.
You could do the
Pay that
free
little
course,
$300
or you could pay
that little $300
$219
if you want that
credit
fucking
like Billy Carter.
certificate. Okay?
and I want to say too, like, education, schooling is not necessary always, right? Like, just because you go to Harvard doesn't mean you're smart.
No,
But
it doesn't.
If you're gonna flex it, bro, you better come with the receipts. Like, come on. And then do you go to his LinkedIn? You see his LinkedIn? It says he went to Harvard for 3 years. What the hell is that?
That motherfucker
Come on, man. Like, that's just
he was logged on to the website for 3 years. That's why he just left his browser there for 3 years. That motherfucker ain't going to goddamn Harvard.
You could have get it
that's
from
hilarious.
anywhere, and as we're going into this film, I want you to keep in mind. So, Anton, you've fallen into this like rabbit hole of, I should say, or this twilight zone where you've crossed over into the realm of people who are really thorough in Black scholarship, okay, and how we're represented, okay, among scholars, regardless of your religion or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We got scholars in the chat right now.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Right now.
It fell on this lap. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
These type of people. So these are the people whom he grifted upon to get to you guys. You understand? So he literally worked his way through this maze. And in this maze, there are literal beacons of scholarship podiums where you're supposed to go and debate people before you get to that level. And he never went through those steps. He simply just popped up. He's like a plant. He's like a plant. So you would think that what he's saying is expertise, because
right. And a lot of people think that.
Yes, because
and that's what I was saying. I was like, he's doing such a disservice to so many industries and so many niches and sectors of knowledge, because he's so broad, right? I mean, you're going from aliens to ancient Egypt to quantum physics to pharmaceuticals, peptides, law of attraction. I mean, it's a huge weave.
And then I hear him say he's the #1 like predominant scholar in certain shit.
Right.
Then when you start saying shit like that,
Foremost,
The
right?
foremost.
Right. You better have
Ooh.
some major, because
Ooh.
like it's bad because what happens to so many people, you know, I've interacted with Billy's community. I've met these people face to face. I've been to his events. These are people who are just looking for truth. They're just seekers, right?
Right.
But they're coming across a guy who has the least amount of knowledge, but presents it like he has the most.
Mm-hmm.
So it's human nature, unfortunately, because of our culture, and it's not like it's just a person thing where if someone's coming off very confident and you're saying, wow, he's also got 1 million followers, your guard goes down. So you just trust him.
Yes.
You think, oh, well, he's smarter than me. He's done his research. Like, I don't know anything about aliens or ancient Egypt or whatever. And so he must be right.
Right.
And this has happened to millions of people. And it's just sad because it's a slap in the face to so many people. Like, we don't got to have all the same beliefs, but man, at least if you're going to say and represent something, represent it in the true light. Cause it's not healthy. There's no progress in that. And it just becomes a grift, which is why if you look at everything he does, there's so many freaking topics because it's just a grift, man. There's just the next thing, the next sensationalism, and got to get you all fired up to get you to buy his thing. It's just,
he's what
it's
you
not
call a
right.
body snatcher. So what these people do is they sit down with you and they have an interview, right? And then when they have an interview with you, after that interview, they then take on the characteristics of who you are, of your essence and your likeness and what you're talking about. And he's one of those guys. So he'll sit around, he'll watch people on the internet, and then he'll try to mimic what it is that they're saying and doing. So that's the reason why he goes from one thing to the next, because it's about who's popping, where the energy lies, and they're energy vampires. Many of the people in the conscious community fall victim to this regularly.
He called me an energy vampire on his live stream. He said he's the energy vampire. I'm like, dude, I just set up the interview. Like, what do you mean? Like, everything he was projecting on there is what he is.
Yes.
He was calling me a psychopath, me a narcissist, me a this, me an energy vampire. I'm like, dude, like, what are you saying, brother? Like, this is like, I actually, guys, like, in all honesty, like, I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
I really do.
I could tell
because there's something wrong. And I'm like, man, like, imagine if what he was saying was rooted in like some like evidence and truth and everything you guys believe in, like actually did the debates and went for it. Like, he could be a good voice in the right spaces.
Had he gone through the right process, right?
And I'm like, man, for anybody to be able to move their tongue like that and talk like that, that's a gift, man. Not everyone has that.
Right.
And I'm like, he's just using it for the wrong reasons. And it's sad because, like, he's done fraud, right? He has a criminal record. Whatever. I have a past too. We all have a past.
We all have a past.
But I've seen a good guy in there. And it breaks my heart that he's gone this road because he's now falling down. And I think that 3.5-hour live stream he did on me, Mark, and Wesley, and defendant number 4, which is a buddy of mine from years ago. It just was so sad. Like, I was like, dude, this is the end. Like, this is it. You're done. There's no bouncing back. And he did it all to himself.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about
hang on a second. I gotta hit some
go ahead.
Super chats real quick. First of all,
I do got to run too at 4:45, guys. Just a heads up.
Okay, well, hang on. Mumra said, Lord, your thoughts on Cobra Kai season 6 part 2. Mumra, I haven't watched it yet. I kind of got pushed back on that Cobra Kai. I don't know. It just started being a little corny to me. So I wasn't watching it as much as I was earlier. Maybe I'll give it a second go. Thank you. Gemro. Okay. Gemro says, I have no reason to trust Anton any more than Billy Carson. Sounds like you set him with the Wesley guy based on your own personal opinions and his beliefs. What exactly is the right process to you? Thank you, Gemro.
Yeah, so I actually didn't. Sure, yeah. I didn't set Wesley up. That was Mark. I gave Mark references of what Billy might bring up, and I used Wesley as an example because he had some debunking videos. So I didn't reach out to Wesley. That was actually Mark. Mark had this gut thing, and hey, I sent Billy I sent Mark a ton of different resources. So I just wanted to see a conversation because I honestly didn't know. I mean, I would have never expected this to happen. Oh my God.
Now
Not a
you
million
are
years.
on a black channel, just to let you know, like this is a predominantly foundational Black American channel. So a lot of people might think would question and say, are you just a white guy coming here to talk bad about a black man? What do you say to them?
Right.
No.
I mean, we got to ask it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm you guys reached out to me because you wanted to talk to the source. I'm part of the source. I'm doing a lot of interviews, not
what did
all
you
of them.
do with him exactly prior to all of this? And when did things go left? And let me just say, if you did know that he was like some sort of scammer or anything,
It's
prior to this, why did you continue to fuck with him?
Right.
Well, first of all, I was really naive growing up. I've been through a lot of trauma and abuse. I have like bad issues with my father and a whole slew of other things. So through my life, I kind of gravitated to what seemed like powerful men through my whole life, right? And I got burned by a lot of those people. But the reason why I worked with Billy was because it's a long story, but long story short, we used to use his page as a way to promote other people in the consciousness space that were my clients. So that's how the whole relationship started. This is like 2017.
So you are a publicist? What are you? What do you mean your clients?
No, this is past life, man. I social media agency. So I would help people like Billy make content, right? But not really quite like Billy. But long story short, I did that for a while. That's how me and Billy fostered a connection. And then when COVID happened, I pretty much started going through a personal transition where I started teaching something called holotropic breath work. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yes.
It's like deep breathing. It can like release DMT naturally in your brain. It's pretty badass actually. And I reached out to Billy and I was like, when the whole like Black Lives Matter thing happened, and I was like, dude, people are fucking hurting right now. I would love to guide you and your audience through an experience to just like release trauma, like get out of like fear, all this stuff. That's how this all started. So I did it with him and his ex-wife, and they were like crying. They were loving it. They were like, man, that was powerful. So then we did it with his audience. There was like 5,000 people on, and it was like 10 out of 10 reviews. And we did it for free. Like I was just like, dude, I want to serve. I want to help. I want to give back. So that's how this all started. And then it was like, then I would have him like speak at like my breathwork things, and he would want me to come in and do breathwork for his community. So we just built a relationship like that. And people on the internet are saying like, we're tight. It was all business. Like it was not like buddy. The fact that he doesn't even know I never had a wife tells you the lack of intimate it really was. Like he was not like a friend. It was more like, when you're in those circles, like I won't even say, like I'm ashamed to admit it, but it's all fake, man. Everyone's there because people got big platforms. They're acting like they're all friends, but you can see in 2 seconds, nobody really gives a shit about each other. They're all there just mooching off each other. And, I was thrown into that mix, and I always kept my distance because the first time I met him, he lied to me about his age.
Oh yeah.
What did he say?
The very first conversation we ever had, the dude told me, I've been saying it was 70, but I actually think it was like, he told me he was 65 when he wasn't.
Who is this? Who are you talking about?
This is Billy.
Billy Carson?
Yes.
He told you. How old is he?
I think he's like 50 something now.
That's what I'm saying. He told you he was 70?
I think
he's
trying
to make him seem that he was older, but he looks mad young. Was the game? Was that the game?
I don't know. He was selling some
right now, if I told people I was 80, I could sell a book.
What was he selling you? That's the question. Was he selling you gold water?
My God.
He was probably selling
exactly.
gold water.
That's exactly what he was selling. It was like colloidal silver and the gold water.
Yo, these dudes is really pushing this 19 keys gold water like it's gonna reverse your age, bro. Oh man,
bro. So he told me he told me he
I
was
know.
older than he was to like
try
He
to
told you to go war.
to try to like
wow influence
like wow me, right? He was trying to wow me.
Jesus Christ, you look great for your age.
Right, exactly. And dude, I was
Still in the
fucking
gym?
retarded.
Get the fuck out of here.
He's selling the black don't crack in a bottle, bro.
Yo,
That's what I said.
hilarious.
That's what I said. I said, hey man, black don't crack. So maybe I don't know.
Whoa.
You know?
I knew it was the gold water, bro.
It was.
Oh,
So that was
shit.
like our first interaction.
Oh,
And again, like I have a problem with me where I always try to see the best in people.
right.
Like I always try to see the best in people. So I was like, you know, I don't know, it's not the worst thing, but man, if I would have known now, no, that's like some psychopathic type shit right there.
Let me ask you something real quick before we, continue. And I know the people in the chat want to know this. Who shapes up your beard, you or your barber?
Barber. Why is it off right now?
I know it's just looking very, very like that beard is just very sharp. That shit is sharp as a motherfucker.
That's how I like it.
No, we like it. I'm just fucking with you. Hang on a second. Jemro is back. He's also said, and no, I don't think Billy Carson is smarter than me either. I just believe you and Wesley Clerkley had an agenda and not just set up the interview.
I can see why you think that. I mean, I can see that perspective. But again, Wesley was in the picture 24 hours in advance. I didn't even know Wesley was coming on. Mark told me last minute, yo, Wesley's coming on. I was like, Wesley's coming on? Okay, cool. So,
and one more from Jim Rowe. He said, so what is the quote unquote right process and who decides? I don't know what he's talking about, right process.
Me neither. I don't think there is a right process. I think it's more of like, it's a conversation. It wasn't a real debate. We keep saying debate. Yeah, it wasn't a debate. That was not a debate. It was a conversation. Billy and Mark are neighbors. It was casual. Hey, come over. We're gonna talk. Whatever. This guy Wesley. But I think, yeah. I mean, either way, I'm happy what happened because he got exposed. I'm more concerned about the fraud stuff, man. I have a soft spot for people being taken advantage of, and it's not right. I was taken advantage of my whole life, and when you start taking advantage of people spiritually, that's messed up. Start taking advantage of people financially, that's fucked up. Right. And the list goes down the road. And it's like, why are we giving people like this such big platforms? It's actually not right. It's not healthy. There's a sickness in our culture, and we need to wake up to these people and just be like, man, like we need more discernment.
The state of Rhode Island just gave a super chat. Thank you, Rhode Island. Said, Lord J, I understand all your suspicions, but you're not really getting to the bottom of anything. Please build with Billy. Good question to the guest, by the way, as I type. LOL. Thumbs up. Thank you, Rhode Island. Appreciate you.
Can you share my screen, Lord Jamaar?
Yes, we're going to share the screen right now.
Because he's got to go soon. So I just want to ask him, were you familiar with all these companies that Billy was in charge of, all these LLCs that he had under his real name, William T. Carson? Are you familiar that he changed his name and his real name is William T. Carson?
Okay,
Carlson, not Carson, Carlson.
Carlson, yeah. Okay, so I figured this out about two and a half years ago because of like when the whole age thing went down, I started questioning. I guess it was more than 2.5 years ago. I don't know, some time ago.
Everybody click that like button. Continue.
Yeah, I've seen something similar to this, but yeah, so I actually found new information out. I don't know if he actually changed his name. I've been saying that too. I don't know if that's fully true. I actually think this is an alias he uses, and he's been using for a very long time. That's kind of some new information I recently found out about when I dug a little deeper and talked to some informants, if you will. And it's actually, I believe this is an alias. Either way, it's fucking crazy. And I mean, he's been caught with identity fraud. He opened up bank accounts in other people's names. this is not secret knowledge. You can this is not forbidden knowledge. You can go on the Broward County website and look this stuff up yourself. You might have to pay a little money, might have to dig a little, but it's all there.
So this is the Broward County website you're talking about, and you can actually see he did change his name. This is the party type right here, and this is the petition that he put out. Billy Cameron Carson II is what he did. This is all public knowledge, family. You can look this up yourself. I already did the homework. I already knew where Anton was going to hit, so I was already ready for him. This is literally him trying to change his name with the county clerk. So, take a look into that. These are things that you want to look at anytime you're dealing with somebody. Make sure that they're using their real names, things of that nature. Make sure you're dealing with the real person, because these are ways that people hide scams through LLCs. They'll open up one LLC, do you dirty, and then open up another one. So when you see you've got all these different things going on, that's what you have to be wary of.
If y'all are, first of all, if y'all are foolish enough to because I saw a thing where this lady put up $8,000 for some crypto. She thought she was investing in crypto, and when you look at the fine print, it was a crypto education course for $8,000, shit like that. If y'all is pretty much gullible to fuck with people like that, it's like I almost feel like you kind of little deserve it a little
Ask
bit.
for it.
Just a little bit. But I ain't gonna lie, all of this shit don't really mean that much to me. All of this scamming shit, I hear you. If he's a scammer, fuck it, expose the nigga. But what I really don't like is these fake smart motherfuckers. Okay, I battle against these motherfuckers every day. Okay, where they come with this air of superiority. Man, I traveled to the place. I actually got the stories from the God and all of this, and they think they're so fucking smart, and they act like they Jordan until Jordan comes into the fucking room. That's what the fuck happened to that dude right there. He's one of these dudes that act like, yo, I know this and I know that, and he'll recite all of these text and shit that he thinks is above your head, but then a nigga like fucking Wes Huff that fucking really studied the shit too and can know the shit in some context just blows your shit in the water. But again, when a motherfucker starts talking about star systems and all this type of shit, I know you don't know the reality of our existence and what's really going on, and that you're peddling some bullshit. So anybody that would go on Ancient Aliens as some sort of progenitor of that fucking show, I'm not fucking with you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so even if something
what really gets me about this guy is don't be out here trying to fool my people. Okay. Don't be coming with the trick knowledge. And I don't mean just the fucking money scamming shit. I mean leading motherfuckers down knowledge roads, yes, and spiritual roads that can lead to dead ends. Fuck all of that.
Truth.
I'm gonna read this really quick.
No, it's not BS, Recluse Brown. The fucking globe is BS, motherfucker. Get out of here with your bullshit.
Public record of him being booked on identity theft. Here it says right here, I read a defendant Miranda rights via card, which he waived and admitted that the license was fictitious. This is when he was pulled over by a policeman. A defendant advised that he purchased the license off the street in Miami. And the defendant advised that he went on a website called netspend.com. I never heard of it, where he was able to acquire the credit card. So he stole someone's identity and got a credit card and started running some stuff up. So here you see defendant advised that his credit is bad and could not open an account under his real name. So defendant signed a consent form to search his vehicle, where I found another Florida driver's license in the name of John Black Knight. I also found a Florida power and light bill in the vehicle with the name Charles Rubin on it. So these are all the identities this dude is stealing.
Yikes.
Defendant advised that he printed out a bill on his computer and changed the name. Defendant also advised that in the past he changed his birth name from Billy Cameron Carson to his current name. So he, on a police document, said that he had changed his name.
Listen, Jamaar Milton. First of all,
Yes.
everybody that's in this bitch right now, make sure you click this like button. Okay. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell and click all so that you'll be notified every time we drop a new joint. Jamaar, why don't you just be real and tell the motherfuckers why you don't like this dude, B?
Yeah.
What he been doing to you for a long time, bro?
I'm gonna run, guys.
Okay, Anton. Hey, we appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, if you want any more info, I'll say it here. I give him 2 years.
And what do you mean by that?
The boys watching. The boys watching.
2 years on the street before the boys get him.
A bird has been telling me this. Yeah.
The boys are watching.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Take it easy.
Thanks,
yes,
bro.
Sir. Anton Wisbiski, ladies and gentlemen.
Good to have you.
Hang on. Before you say what you're going to say, a supervillain said, so this nigga is all the way fake? He said, I would love to debate Billy Carson. If he hates West now, then he'll have to have me killed because I wouldn't be as nice as West was. I hear you, supervillain.
West was really nice.
West was really nice. But go ahead, tell me why you really don't like this guy, because you seem to have a little history with this guy, maybe.
I mean, I've been watching from the beginning. I don't know him personally. I only know him from internet activity. You know what I'm saying? And
right. I seen him from afar on some internet activity. Like, he's a nigga that might come through on your timeline, just like one of those 19 keys, dude, all of those type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they just popped out of nowhere type of dudes. Like, you know what I mean?
I let people live, like, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, until it gets to the point where it affects me in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? If it don't affect me in my personal life, I don't care what you're doing, legal or illegal. I mind my business. But when it gets to the point where, you know what, this is affecting the overall universe and the overall ether, that's when I start stepping in and I say my two piece. What it's good for, could care less, right? Let's just put it out there. Make sure I do my due diligence. So years ago, many of you know, if you've been in tune with me, when I first started, I started off just dropping memes. You know what I'm saying? Edutainment memes. I was one of the people that was really crazy with that, every single day dropping memes with just a little bit of information and knowledge. That's before people segued into video. I was very active in that. My YouTube page still has 10,000 followers that I don't even tap into, just from that, just from those years ago. And that's what, 7 years ago, at least. Right.
Oh, okay.
But in any case, I used to drop knowledge, and when I dropped the knowledge, I used to drop it under the hashtag forbidden knowledge and hidden knowledge. Those were the two hashtags that I would use.
Right.
And then one day I dropped something that was very instrumental, and out of nowhere, Billy Carson and his like entourage started hitting my feed up about me using the hashtag forbidden knowledge. And I'm like, well, forbidden knowledge is an everyday thing that people talk about. This is not something that you own. You know what I'm saying? So then he went on and trademarked the number. That's why it's a number 4 forbidden knowledge, because forbidden knowledge, FOR, is something that everyone says. You're not trademarking that. Get out of here.
Right.
So he put the forbidden knowledge and trademarked it. Fine. So then I stopped using the forbidden knowledge. That's when we created the Lighthouse. I created my infrastructure doing what I'm doing. You understand what I'm saying? So from there, I watched this dude talk about, he wasn't talking about Kemet then. He wasn't talking about Egypt then. Back then, he was talking about crypto. Okay? So this is what grifters do. They go from one thing to the next once they're introduced to your success and what you're doing. You understand? So what he did was he switched from that and then started, if you notice, you can literally segue back to almost the exact week as to when he started talking ancient Kemetic shit that he did not know anything about. This dude does not read the Medunetta. You'll also see when I started delving into my studies more thoroughly. I said, you know what? Let me get into a shrine and let me study. Let me sit at the foot of a scholar of our ancestors, right? Let me get mine the right way, right? It's not about being loud and saying, you know, Egypt, this. No. I'm not an Egypt apologist, okay? I deal with history, and I don't take it any further than what it is. We're not glorifying anything more than what it is, right? So you don't have to lie to let's say, to educate. You know, you don't have to bring about lies in order to get your point across. I'm not by any means a Christian apologist. If anything, my number one t-shirt, like I said, is Jesus fake, bro. I don't believe in Jesus. But yet, I'm not that dumb to where I can't sit down with someone who is a Christian like they don't know their history. Like they can't be historians and know what is true, right, and exact. You see? So the reason why, we brought this individual on is so that you can see that it's real. This is coming from the source of people who've actually worked with this man. Okay, he worked with this man for 3 years under his tutelage and sat at his table. Okay, so if anybody would know, it would be him. And a lot of times we get bamboozled by people who look like us in the conscious community, and we think that they're our friends. We've seen it during the election. We've seen it during the presidential election, where you see people that look like you, and we figure, oh well, because they're black, they must be for us. That is not the truth.
Or think they're black.
They think we think they're black. Yeah, simply because they look like us, and we have to be careful of this. This is why we're not moving forward, is because we keep putting people in place who are unqualified. We go to athletes for political advice. We go to comedians for who we should be living our lives vicariously through. When we have people who are everyday scholars who do this every single day, who have put their heart and soul into this knowledge to give it to y'all, that's the people who you should be sitting at the foot at. Your elders.
Jay Leezy said he was saying he was 70 because the Harvard graduate with his name was 70, and he knew people would research his Harvard claim.
Yes. It's these things that I can't, especially when you're doing it over in my field. Like, stay out of Kemet, bro. You want to do that, talk about whatever you want. Stay out of Kemet. We need that. So this was one of the things that I had to sit back and watch, because a lot of times when these things happen, these people have infrastructures and they have machines behind them. So you can't always be right? You can't be right now. You got to be later, because if you say it now with this machine going, you're going to get canceled or you're going to look like the hater. So sometimes you got to wait for it to for the universe to do what it does, right? Karma is a bitch, and we know it's going to happen. The tables is going to reverse. Eventually, all will be revealed. Cat Williams opened up the portal somewhat.
Villain 52, thank you. He said one more. Billy is Satan in clown form.
Yeah, you got to know how to sit back and watch things just happen, man, and then say when it's necessary. You've never heard me speak on this man a day in your life, but I'm giving you all this information just to show you how genuine this really is. I never wanted to come out. I don't try to expose anything that doesn't need to be exposed. Something like this, nah, bro. You've been scamming your whole life, B, and you still doing it now. We watching it live play out now. Now you can't run. And you're doing it to us. You're doing it to black people that look like you. We see who you laid up with too. That's not a black woman. So I'm not confused as to whose side you on. I'm not confused. Some people will get it misconstrued. They can't see through that. The same way I wasn't misconstrued about Kamala laying up with who she laying up with. I'm not misconstrued, bro. See what I'm saying? So you either see it or you don't. But all this evidence for you to look at it and say, yeah, this is the guy that need to be leading black scholarship when it comes to esoteric or religious studies. Nah, I'm no dummy. So we got to expose this for what it is. The first one, and just so you know, the first one, we linked to the part.
You at least the truth in Narnia, Oz, and Asgard.
Bro, I'm not trying to kill dude right here, right? I'm not trying to kill dude right now for the sake of this channel. I'm gonna say that everything that we said is alleged. Y'all go and do the knowledge yourself. Everything we said here today is allegedly. Okay? Y'all go and do the knowledge yourself. We pulled up public records, but y'all go and do the knowledge yourself.
Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. You brought this shit to me. You know what I mean? I ain't even know dude like that.
More, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I ain't even know dude like that. Like, you know what I mean? But I do see that, yeah, he is on people's radar. And when I watched the debate, I mean, that's what really pulled me in, was just the way he maneuvered in that debate. I just know people like that. And it's like, yeah, they're not trustworthy. They're not trustworthy because they're hoping that you don't have a certain degree of knowledge so that they can try to con you into believing that they're smarter than you, so that you'll back down, that he can just easily say, oh, well, see, I've been there. I actually got and so what are you supposed to say? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are you supposed to say? Like, but so what, you've been there? Like, that still doesn't, the truth is the truth. You could go wherever the fuck. And if you're not telling the truth, you're not telling the truth. Just because you traveled there doesn't really mean shit.
Right. When you sit down with individuals, even if you travel, like, let's put it this way, I've traveled to people to Egypt, to the pyramids, and they don't get the same experience that I get because they don't even know what they're looking at compared to I know what I'm looking at. You could go somewhere and totally miss everything that you're supposed to see. Even though you travel there, you could go there several times. You could go to your own crib. You could be living in your own crib. Somebody could come to your house and see something in your house, and you'd be like, you know what? I never even noticed that. I never even noticed that in your own crib. So, the reality is, we have to sift through, and you have to vet people when they're claiming what they claim. Show us your source. Show us your evidence, right? And many people don't do that. They stand on credentials.
Dr. Umar School in 2035.
Yeah, don't let nobody try to throw a certificate in your face, a degree in your face, a title in your face. None of that. If they're not proving to you what it is that they saying and showing evidence to show that they have studied, don't.
Segun Yahawada.
We good.
My brother said Billy Carson is not a Harvard graduate. He took a 6-week course on ancient civilizations that anyone can get from Harvard. He's a liar. Right. Yes, you may be coming in a little late because our brother Jamaar Milton screenshotted the actual course and showed us that, yes, indeed, you can fucking anybody can take this course for free, and for an extra, almost $300, you can pay and get yourself a little certificate. So
nothing at all. $200.
$200. I'm sorry, I made it even more expensive than it was. Excuse me. My bad.
You could get you a Xbox costs more money than it.
Thank you, Sagan. So you can get you an Xbox and shit.
You a PS5, bro. And I'm gonna say, somebody say, what about Key? I'm gonna tell you this: birds of a feather flock together, and you could tell them I said it. You could tell them birds of a feather flock together.
Listen, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Right? Bringing it up, so fuck it, right? The first time I seen this dude, 19 Keys, and he had that Elijah Muhammad headband on, I was like, yo, who the fuck does this dude think he is? No, seriously, because, bro, I've never seen anybody wear that particular head configuration. First of all, the way Elijah Muhammad's wasn't a headband, it was an actual, like a kufi type of shit. But he's the only one. Maybe I saw Muhammad Ali might have had one, but it wasn't the same that Elijah's had. Like, so to like take that same one that Elijah used to wear and try to update it a little bit, to me, yes, to me, that seemed like you're psychologically trying to put yourself in the place of an Elijah. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to, and you're just doing it with symbolism. You see, if I put this same thing,
it's a trick.
It's a trick.
It's
if
a body
I put the same shit that somebody who y'all respect and look up to and all, if I associate myself with that too, y'all might y'all might give me the same.
Y'all might give me the same respect.
The same respect.
It's a body snatch. It's a body snatch. He literally stole a dead man's energy. It's a body snatch. But you're not gonna peep it because he's saying the different things in the catchphrases that they
because even like he would wear a militant looking type of top, almost like FOI-ish, but like,
Body
are you in the
snatch.
FOI?
Nah, body
Like,
snatch.
is he in the Nation of Islam?
We could talk about that goofy too. I got no problem with it. No problem with it. Because Duke called my phone. 19 Keys called my phone because I had a problem with something that Wesley Muhammad said a couple of years ago. And he called my phone temperature checking. And you know me, I'm a hood nigga. I said, nigga, is you temperature checking?
This dude.
What you want to do?
From,
I said, are you Muslim?
Kills from Alb said 19 Keys is a Satanist. Aleister Crowley had a book talking about someone, the 19th key to open up demonic portals and entities. Whoa. Whoa.
You know, the dudes that will have you invest in them versus just investing in yourself. Invest in me. So you gotta watch that, man. Like people been telling y'all. I know y'all been hearing it, and this ain't the first time that y'all been hearing it, that there are grifters in the community, and they're gonna be at the forefront.
77 figures. Thank you. He said it's 19 schemes. Brother Rich, a scammer as well. 100. Whoa.
Every time you turn around,
See, I've been to Brother Rich's fucking crib. I feel like, yeah, I've been to his crib. I've been on the show before. I don't know Brother Rich to be a scammer, but I do know that he be having a lot of those. You know what I mean? He's definitely in contact with a lot of people in the conscious community. That's all I know, and they be on his show. But I don't personally know Brother Rich as such. So, you know, y'all are saying that. Y'all are pulling them in. Somebody said they all scamming. I mean, are they all? You know, you'd hate to feel that everybody is out here scamming, man. That's what I'm saying. No. I don't think everybody's scamming, but you know, a lot of these popular ones that just pop out of nowhere. She said the unconscious. Dr. Ma'at said the unconscious community.
The reality, and yeah, shout out to Dr. Ma'at because she's in the community. The ones that are in the community know the other ones in the community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like these individuals are not in the community, and that's what y'all got to understand. When we say community, meaning like we move in and out, like you know what I'm saying? We spend money with each other on a grassroots level, building up black-owned businesses, boom, boom, boom. And we have places where we convene, whether it be Sonetta's channel, whether it be Baba, whatever. There's all different places where we
and
come
you have
together.
roots like for years. Like you see what I'm saying? Like it's not like when y'all, for some people, you know, they may have just discovered me on the internet due to their age or whatever the case may be. But it's not like I just popped out of nowhere. You see what I'm saying? Like Lord Jamar been Lord Jamar for the last 30-something fucking years. You know what I mean? On his conscious shit, fucking, you know what I mean? On his knowledge of self, God body shit, and he's still on that shit today.
That's how we met. We met in the community with a bunch of people.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, so, for real.
It's like if we don't know you, there's no way you're in the community. It's impossible because I know all the leaders in the community. Dr. Ma'at will tell you on here. She's seen me around. I know all the leaders from Baba Heru, Mfadishi. Name them leaders in the black community.
Said Hobbit grifted with Billy 6 years. He's the same. Who's Hobbit? I don't know who Hobbit is. Did he mean Hemet?
Oh, Bobby Hemmett?
Yeah, maybe he means
probably talking about Bobby Hemmett.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Bobby Hemmett talked about him a lot too. Because he knows that race is not where you draw the line in terms of knowledge, y'all. Skin color, like
Flex Dealer. Line, bro. Thank you. He said Cheyenne Bryant equals Billy Carson. Who is Cheyenne Bryant? Do y'all know?
Who's that?
Cheyenne Bryant.
Never heard of him.
Me neither. But thank you, Flex Dealer. Peace, guy. Yeah, man. I don't like these dudes just pop out of nowhere. It's like, yo, I don't even know where you're from. I never really heard of you. Like, but then you just come as an authority, like you just cut the line and you're just presenting yourself as an authority. And because of social media and the way people are able to craft imagery on social media, they are able to assert some sort of, dominance in the minds of people that don't know any better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think a lot of people didn't necessarily realize when they saw that headband, maybe even what he was trying to
replicate. It's subconscious. It's subconscious, and they don't know because they haven't been educated on that yet. You see what I'm saying? They just coming into consciousness, so they grab the new people of the fresh babies that's just leaving religion or just getting into consciousness. They don't know any better. I was one of them. How do you think I got this? Huh? I'm telling you because I know. I'm not a hater. I support it. I bought this.
Wow.
What are you saying? I was one of them. And then I realized when you grow and mature, when you're serious about it, you grow and mature and you be like, then you start looking at them like, oh, I had a slight messiah's complex. I was coming out of religion. That's religious residue. See? And then once you wake up from that, then you're like, oh, these dudes is the ones that's you know how they say when we talk about 5%ers, right? Break that down really quick. There's some of us who are 85ers.
Who have no knowledge of themselves.
Right? Same thing in consciousness. You come in 80, you are 85 or automatic. And then there's the 10% that's doing what?
They taking the knowledge, but they holding it in order to be the bloodsuckers of the poor.
Huh?
Okay.
That's who we're talking about. That's who we're
and the
talking
10%
about.
are not just white. You know what I mean?
And it's not just what. Come on.
Listen, really, when you're supposed to be talking about that 5 and 10 and that's kind of supposed to be of original people we're supposed to be talking about, really. So the 10% are the original people. Like a lot of times we think it's the other man, but the 10% is the ones amongst us that know. And his bloodsuckers are poor. Miss Legina, much love to you, queen. Much love. She said, respect and love. Keep it going. Absolutely.
Now, I'm gonna be real. Somebody said Ben X's boys with 19 keys, all of them fools and grifters. No, Ben X got the pass. I've dealt with all.
I went to a function with for that Ben X had at Cipriani's in New York. He invited me. I thought Ben X was cool. You know what I mean? Like
he's the most genuine one out of them all. I'm gonna tell you that.
But Keys was there. Keys was there. That's the time that I actually met him.
And that's because of the organization that they belong to. They're not gonna put each other down regardless of what that person is doing. That's just Islam. I get it. It has a beautiful parts of its religion, but at the same time, it's also things that can hold Black people back if you're not paying attention. But Ben, to me, is the most authentic and the most genuine, and he runs his operations true and exact. I would even say this. Well, I'm just gonna say Ben. That's the one I would trust. I've worked directly with Ben. And y'all know I'm not Islam. I'm not Islamic. I'm not Muslim. I've worked with him in the hood, in the projects, right here in Hempstead. We did the wake up call. I had Rizza Islam there. I had Red Pill there. I had Dr. Umar there. I worked with all of them. And out of all of them, to me, Ben was the most authentic in what he was doing in his approach.
That's what's up.
Rizza's my bro. There is some things that came out about Rizza. I have no comment on those things. I know nothing about those things. I'm telling you from direct personal relationships, people that I've dealt with, and only like on a business level. And he made the Nation of Islam look good in my eyes. That's from what I rendered.
Much love, Miss Legina. Thank you. Morad Morajak. Thank you. Greetings from Paris, France. Interesting convo. Peace, Lord J and Jamaar Milton. Consciousness knows no borders. Peace. All right. Thank you, Morad. Kairos Customs. Free game. Anytime someone talks in riddles with a price tag attached, beware.
Riddles.
Facto, yo. The puppy sleeps under the sofa. Now send me $1,000 and I'll tell you what that means. Those type of motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like, yes, you're right about that. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That is fucking hilarious. Leslie, all are fake until they prove otherwise. There is no guarantee that someone knows truth, but it is guaranteed one can speak falsehoods. Everyone does it. Well, I don't know. Not necessarily. You know, I speak the truth that's verifiable. You see?
Right.
A lot of y'all talk some shit. I saw a meme where it said you can know enough about a subject to think that you know about it, but not really have enough knowledge to know that you don't know shit.
Yeah, that's the it's actually that's an effect. That's Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about it. The
Right.
Running effect.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's what a lot of motherfuckers is dealing with right now. And that's what happened to him.
That's a fact.
That's what happened to him with the West, dude.
That's a fact.
But this is what happens when I talk to these globetards. Like, they really believe that the shit that they learned in 3rd grade and that it's laughable. Like, oh, Lord Jamaar, you like, motherfucker, you haven't even studied. If you don't get the fuck out of my face, I'm Jordan with this shit. This shit is provable. This shit is repeatable. Like, you can never show me a model where the water sticks to the outside of the ball. It doesn't even let's take the spin out of it. Just make the water stick to the outside of the ball with your magical gravity. Please, just do it. Make that happen all the way around. I want to see it. And if you can magically do that and make it spin and see if it sticks, like, this is fucking ridiculous that we even talking this shit. All because they told you Christopher Columbus was proving that. Shut the fuck up. Proving it would be a linear travel from north to south and coming back again north. They never do that. It's always east to west, west to east. There is no traveling the fucking earth north to south. Look it up. Look it up. Stupid asses. Blacklight, thank you. This is my first time seeing Jamaar Milton. I heard you mention him before, but I see why you rock with him now. Bro, smart as a motherfucker, 100. And thank you, Blacklight. And this motherfucker can rap. He can sing. He fucking plays instruments. He's a talented dude. We have a song on my album called Each One Teach One. And I think that's going to be a big record. And I can't wait for y'all to hear it. That's all I can say. You know what I mean?
Y'all in the right frequency, man. Y'all in the right space.
Yeah.
You know, like, I had to use myself as a sacrifice for many different years and rub elbows with individuals that I didn't necessarily want to within the conscious community to try to figure it out. I sat down with different people, you know, elders and things of that nature, and asked around, you know, who to work with, who not to work with. Like, I did my due diligence, and that's only because I got burned before, you know, coming into the conscious community. So once I got burned, that's why I'm passionate about it. People say, well, why are you saying this? It's because I know that there's some people that's approaching this with genuine intentions. And when you get burned, it turns you off. And some of these people we need. All we got is us. So we really got to look at that, look at this in that light.
Now, here's a great question right here from Rhode Island again. Thank you, Rhode Island. He said, peace, Jamaar Milton. But sounds like y'all had a misunderstanding and the internet had you butting heads over the name.
What name?
From what I've seen and what I'm interested in is how were the pyramids built? Not just the ones in Kemet. I think that's a great question.
Oh, you mean the Merakut? He's talking about the name of the pyramids?
No, he said.
Because he said the name. What does he mean by the name?
No, he said, how were the. No, when you said about the forbidden knowledge that you and Homeboy got in a beef, over, butting heads over the name.
Oh, gosh.
When you were doing hashtag forbidden knowledge. That's what he's talking about right there. And then he's saying, would he's fuck all the bullshit. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier, because I ain't gonna lie. That white dude we had on, I don't know, man. He didn't really bring nothing to the fucking conversation to me. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe he proved some shit for you, but
He
I
did for
think
me.
we could have
Yeah.
fucking showed all of that without even bringing him on. No
Right.
disrespect, Mr. Sharpbeard, but
Yeah, we just wanted to have a source on ground,
okay,
so people can't say we just over here hating. We got direct.
yeah, we had him, you know,
So,
whatever. But like he said, how were because a dude like this will say, oh well, fucking these motherfuckers came from Sirius B and Naribu and all this fucking bullshit of
yeah,
outer space beings
yeah,
instead of just fucking being like, yo, the original man, all that you see above was made by the original man. You know
right.
what I mean? Like, it's all the original man. The fuck are you
Right.
talking about?
And I liked what
Space
Dr. Ma'at
aliens and
said.
all this bullshit.
Utilizing STEM, and it's absolutely right. STEM on a natural level, not the way that we know it, on a natural level. So a lot of it had to deal with, if we start talking directly about the pyramids, moving stones and things of that nature, a lot of it had to deal with water. And this is the reason why the flooding of the Nile was so important. And they had ceremonies around this, because when the Nile flooded, it allowed them to be able to move stones that were heavy a lot more buoyantly from one place to the next. That if you go over to Egypt, you'll actually see the fairways as to how they drag the stones from one place to another. These were done by African hands, not by aliens.
Yeah, I think we also might have had sciences that, you know what I mean? Technology that these motherfuckers just don't understand right now, such as magnetism,
Yes.
being able to use things with magnets,
Yes.
changing the frequency and vibration of a thing in order to make it levitate. And I believe we had all that science, all of that shit was at our fingertips. And at some point, we may have lost that. Thank you, Rhode Island. Christian Clark said 19 keys high-level conversations are extremely enlightening and insightful. However, Billy Carson's Anunnaki talk always seemed disingenuous.
I agree.
Thank you, Christian Clark. Listen, it's not that you can't get like good information necessarily out of people that still might be doing some shady shit. Like, you have to kind of mix truth
Yes.
with some falsehood
Yes.
in order to make it, plausible.
That's right.
You see,
you won't believe it unless you didn't.
right? So you definitely have to give out some good information, but then slip in the bullshit, and that's what's dangerous.
Yes.
When the line gets so blurry that you're not sure, and that's what the fucking devil does every day.
Yes.
He's here to confuse you. That's what AI now is here to do. So you're not sure what the line is. Where is the line between reality and fiction?
And
Science.
you know what they say, the devil is the author of confusion.
Science fiction. Thank you, Christian Clark. Morad Morajak is back. Thank you. He said, any books, references for these subjects, stars, Earth, and the universe related to these energies and megastructure rests we have on Earth?
Any books, references for these subjects? Most of my references, this is just me. Most
of these books are tainted.
Yeah, like even books, a book has an author. So you have to delve into who that author is and what his agenda is.
Right. And who's paying them?
Yeah. So the best thing to do is to take a class, right? You're going to learn from a teacher, but that teacher is going to teach you how to research, how to do what we say, do the knowledge, right? Because really it's about the methodology, because both Billy and Wes are researchers, but one has a better methodology. Does that make sense? So it's really about how you go about it, right? To get what you're looking for, because everybody's void is different. What people are seeking as far as knowledge and what level they're on, everybody's stance and void is different. So I try not to steer people or segue people down books too much, more than I do experiences. That's the reason why I segue towards that. I'll tell somebody to book a ticket somewhere and go somewhere, and then go get books from there. Right? I will find better books about my hometown in my hometown than somewhere else. I promise you that.
Rhode Island, thank you once again. So not just the ones in Kemet, but in the Americas, Southeast Asia, and even China. It's interesting. He had a black wife and kids who left, I believe. Also, he explained the name change.
Yeah, he's a criminal. That's pretty simple. The next thing is, you know, as far as other countries and things of that nature, you know, I haven't been to those countries, but I will say, you know, what they did illustrate in Kemet with the ones that they built, which could be taken anywhere, that technology is how to create stone from scratch. Somebody in the feed literally was like, they didn't lift the stones, and they're absolutely correct. It's because some of them, they actually, well, let's put it this way, they poured it in almost like the way you did a polymer, like you do concrete. And you can see the stencils are still there as to how they created those stones. That's why they were all the same exact size, because they used a stencil, and they would pour it into the mold, okay? And then it would dry with the desert heat sun. So that's how they created the stones. But then as far as rolling them, you know, they would use different things with the water, you know, with the water and things of that nature after the stone was prepared and ready to be lifted to where it needed to go.
Here's a theory that I have, right? Because anything that we have that is, let's say, mechanical is basically a representation of what exists in nature, right? So the fact that we have Wi-Fi and wireless transmission of things, but we don't realize we have telephones, but we don't realize that we have telepathy. You see, that we are able to transmit information to each other without the medium of talking or like being right in front of each other. If we are at a certain frequency, you see, when you turn into a radio station, how many people are listening to that radio station? Sometimes millions, because everybody is tuned into that frequency. So now let's just say that there's a time on the planet where the spiritual people of the planet are tuned into the spiritual radio. They're listening to the spiritual radio of the planet. And the spiritual radio of the planet is giving you the science of how to create pyramids. And so now we're all, it doesn't have to be, oh, the Egyptians, they went all over the fucking world. No, all the original people who were tapped in at the same goddamn time, okay, were tapped into the vibration that allowed them to download the schematics and the, you know, the blueprints of how to do these different pyramids in these different geographical locations at the proper, you know, ley lines and all of that type of shit, bro. That's what I believe. And that's a type of science that they don't want us to even consider. They want us to sound, oh, that's crazy. You really think, you know, we could communicate like that? Yes, we do it now. But they've dumbed our shit down. They got our fucking pineal all calcified and all this bullshit. So we don't believe that we can do this shit. But we know that our fucking I can send a file right now from my
it. Do you accept what's being said as authoritative to shape and govern your life and to receive a revelation from Yahweh whereby you live in humble obedience to his will and his word? So I believe it goes a little deeper than people just saying they believe. It has to go into the veracity and the historicity and the authority of the scripture, and you know, how is that embraced by people, if you understand what I'm saying? Because everybody doesn't embrace that. There are things that people read that they won't embrace as authoritative.
Okay. Now, you know, we talk about the rape doctrine over here because a lot of people scared to deal with that. We talk about the lies and the deceitfulness that the God of the Bible puts down and laid down. I'm going to see if we can get an honest answer from you, brothers. And we want to see where you're at with this truth and with this word of God. Does God support lying, stealing, deceiving people? All three. Think about it.
The Hebrew Bible evidences people who lied, who steal, who deceived people. God oftentimes had people in his creation who were used for various purposes, not the least of which was Pharaoh. We see deception with Saul's children and Jonathan and his daughter Michal as they are helping David to save himself in 1 Samuel 19 and 20. We see deception there. She puts an image in the bed and says that David is in the bed sick, and Saul's men come in and ask why she's lied to them. Jonathan has lied to his daddy. All of that was to aid David in becoming king of Israel. God did allow them to participate in his eternal purpose and plan that way. And the Bible makes it clear over and again, there are people with a disposition that allows them to be used as different kinds of vessels. Now, what you have indicated is that there is a such thing as a right and a wrong. And what their actions demonstrate is that God recognizes right and wrong. And we're able to clearly see the right and the wrong and the deception and the lies, thus giving credence to the kind of God that he is and where he wants us to be, who he wants us to be ultimately in a world that's not fallen.
So why does God have to lie, though? Why does God have to deceive people? Instead of him going down that route, everything he told us not to do, we can look in the book and find God doing what he told us not to do. Now, in our world, we call that hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You tell us not to kill. You tell us, of course, we know raping anybody is off limits, but it's all right when God does it. Uh-oh, Captain says Saul going to make him run. Because but see, when I ask these Hebrews these questions, they hang in and they go hard on it. So I want to ask y'all these questions because I can show it in scripture. And matter of fact, I think I will do that right now. And I would like for my brother, Reggie, Pastor Reggie.
Before you do that, could you read Hebrews 6:18?
No, you got to get it. Or you tell one of them to get it, brother.
All right, Brother Patrick, can you pull that up?
Go ahead. And you can share your screen. Y'all can share your screen.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying here is no slander. I love this book. I just love to teach the book right, you know. And you got some Israelite brothers out there who will teach the book right and say, yes, God does do all these things. He's the king. He can do what he wants. So we do have brothers out there that will agree to what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, you talked about what God certainly allows, but to identify that as God's action every time would be incorrect, which of course is where Reggie is going now.
Mm-hmm.
You pull it up, Pat? Oh, you're on mute, Pat. Unmute yourself.
There you go.
Did you ask for 6:18?
Yeah, Hebrews 6:18.
Hebrews. That by two immutable things in which it was impossible for God to lie, we might have strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us.
So in this, there's a bigger context, but you had asked the question about God lying, raping, murdering, or whatever, and this goes back to what I said earlier about do we respect the authority of the words? This
I say
text
he
says that
he support the rape. He support lying. When you send strong winds of delusion,
all right.
you
Let
know.
me say this. This is what I'm saying. The text says that it's impossible for God to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, do people receive that as absolutely true?
That's the question. And yes, people
that's where we got to start.
Yeah,
because if we have a revelation saying that it's impossible for him to lie, then we have to conclude that God is the ultimate absolute truth. Now, what people do, as in what Jeff is alluding to, that's something different. But God is still holy, perfect, and righteous. Otherwise, he wouldn't be God.
Okay, let me ask you a question, brother. And I'm glad you said that. What if me and you were together and I commit a crime and you all well aware of the crime that I'm going to commit and you are rolling with me, but I'm the one that does it. You don't do it. Are you still guilty, brother? Did you condone me doing what I'm not supposed to do because you ain't saying anything about it? Huh?
Well, when you say condone, but then you said I'm not saying anything about it, which one is it? Am I condoning it by manifestation?
No,
or are you saying am I condoning? Go ahead, say again.
Let me say it like this. Check it out. Okay. You and another person, you see that you at war with somebody. Y'all fighting. You at war. And you see this beautiful woman amongst you. You kill her parents, but you say, wow, this is a beautiful woman. I'm not going to kill her. I'm going to take her with me, take her to my home, lock her down for 30 days, and then claim her as my wife and go inside of her. Would you say that that is an act of a crime, brother? Not only a crime, but also rape? Kidnap?
Well, because you're not really giving me just off of that, the way you explained it, I would say, yeah.
Okay. Let me share this with you because I think this is saying the same thing that I said. And I would like for you to go ahead and read it. You can read it.
Okay.
There you go. Deuteronomy 21:10-14.
Okay.
You
went down this road before.
Yes. Well, go ahead and read it, brother. That's right. Now I remember.
Yeah, me and you talked about this before, and we came to an impasse when I got into the context.
Go ahead. You ain't getting out of this one though, not this time.
Oh, that brother, as long as you in the book, we good. I don't have to get out of nothing.
Okay.
All right. When you go to war against your enemies, that wasn't how you presented it. So right there, we had an impasse. When you go to war against your enemies, you didn't present it that way.
Okay. So because they are enemies, it is all right to take a woman and grape her because she is your enemy.
Wait a minute. Where does it say that he raped her?
It's not going to come out and say that. It says when you
go. That's our impasse.
Hold up, check it out. When you go to war against your enemy, and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands. Now, number one, God is participating in all of this right here. See, that's what I was saying. God knows all of this was going on. In fact, he's instructing you what you can do. He's telling you what you can do, brother. So go ahead. And now we're going to go on. When you go to war against your enemy and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands and you take what? Captive. You take prisoner of this woman. If you notice amongst them, the captives, a beautiful woman and are attracted to her. See, now you got to be attracted to her. God is telling you, but if you notice amongst your enemies, a beautiful woman this is God giving you instructions what to do. Now, if you notice a beautiful woman amongst your enemies that's attracted to you, the woman ain't got no say so. She don't have to be attracted to you. If the man see that she's attracted, then the man can do what? Do what he want. You may take her as your wife. What if she don't want to be your wife? She don't have no say so in the matter because she's captive. She's a prisoner. It says, bring her.
Let me say something. Can I say something?
And then I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Bring her into your home and have her shave her head. She don't want to shave her head. Have her trim her nails. She don't want to trim her nails. That's her beauty. That's where her beauty is at. But she can't say, no, I don't want to do it, because you can do anything you want to her. And put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. After she was living in your house for and mourn her father and mother. See, y'all have killed her father and mother. She don't want to be there with the killers of her father and mother for a full month. Then you may what? You may go to her and be her husband. She don't want to be your wife, but it's forced at this time, and she shall be your wife. If you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she wishes. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave. Why? Because you have already dishonored her. What do you mean you have dishonored her? You dishonored her by going inside of her. You dishonored her by kidnapping her. You dishonored her by killing her fathers and her mothers, and now you're going inside of her and you want to claim this woman to be your wife. Go ahead, and I'll let you break that down, brother.
Let me just say, you added a lot in there that's not in the text. First of all, this is not something that was commanded to be done. Do you see in verse 11 where it says, if? Do you see that in verse 11?
If you notice amongst the
if you notice. So then I could say to you, well, what if they don't notice a beautiful woman?
Then
See, I think you're trying to press, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. It seems as if you're trying to press a point that this was something that was commanded to do, rather than, for lack of a better word, a regulation if something came to pass. And that's the difference. So think about that. And that's what you call how people are reading text to try to press a point, because they're not looking at the words of if, you may, where there may be something regulated, but it's not like you're commanded to do this or you have to do this.
Does the woman have any say so in this matter right here that we're looking at?
According to this text, I want to go home
with you. No, I don't want to be your wife.
Well, according to this text, she doesn't have a voice.
Thank you, brother.
If this situation arises, because the situation has to arise for this to happen.
So in the first verse in 10, what you have to understand is this is a nation at war with another nation.
Exactly.
Once you conquer that other nation,
yep,
that whole nation is captive. If China came over,
and that's what the Israelites come with. So you're saying, in order for God to say, go ahead and rape the woman, that you have to be enemies, you have to be at odds, and now God is all right with rape. See, that don't make sense.
It's no grape in the verse.
It is.
It's no grape in the verse.
It's not going to come out and just say the word, brother.
God don't mind saying grape when he wants to.
That's exactly what it is.
It's not.
Let me go to my brother, Dr.
Well, let me ask this. Evidently trying to make a point. Yeah, there is this is warring Israel. We mentioned earlier that you have to keep these things in context. Wilderness Israel is different from promised land Israel. Warring Israel is different from at peace Israel. Throughout the Old Testament, we have horrific scenes involving the Israelites, not the least of which is the Levite concubine in Judges 19, which is another horrific story of the way a concubine was treated, cut up, and sent out to the tribes. And so you have these kinds of incidents there as God allows man to see his own depth of evil within himself in recognition of what happens when men and women's lives are not guided by the ultimate character of God. And God does allow men and women to experience that distance from him, and regulates it with these laws that he gives to Moses, even in the most horrific senses. That doesn't take away from the truth that God honors women like Sarah, honors women like Hannah, honors women throughout the Old Testament, the prophetesses like Huldah, even in his interaction with women in the New Testament, he holds them to a standard. And in At Peace Israel, men were not allowed to function among the Israelites the same way they did when Israel was at war with his enemies. And this is the interaction that they had with themselves and the culture. But it's interesting that you see the further you get from God's character and God's being, you see horrific things going on, and God allows that. I think Paul refers to that as God gives them up, those kinds of things. Not that God is satisfied with, God is not pleased with their behavior, but he does give them up to become the victim of their own devices, their own warring, their own abilities not to be at peace with one another. Similar to those of us who are married and have wives that try to attend to everything in the home, and she's begged us to cooperate with her. Otherwise, she's going to stop cleaning, she's going to stop cooking, she's going to stop going to work, and we don't listen to her, and eventually she gives us up. You come home now, the house is a mess, there's nothing cooked. That doesn't mean she loves them less. What it means is she's distanced herself from them, so they will know what happens when her presence is not guiding them in a loving way. When God gives us up to our own devices, it does not negate his love. It does not negate his nature. It does not negate his holiness. It's a demonstration to us of what happens when we are at a distance from God. And yes, he allows it. And he has no shame in what he allows. And he explained that to Job as Job questioned his sovereignty.
Let me get clarity. When you say God allows it,
he allowed that.
Let me get clarity. When you say yes, God allows it, what are you talking about? Allows what? And
God allows whatever heinous acts have been attributed to Israel, as well as those heinous acts that are governing them, dependent upon the situation that they're in, whether they are in the wilderness, eating
so God
manna.
allows the rape. You saying God allows the rape?
God does allow it. He obviously allows it.
Man. That's what I was saying, man. That's what I said to my brother Patrick. My brother Patrick and Reggie. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think they disagree with that. God commanded. God has that as a part of the instruction to Israel. I think they're concerned about the implications you're making about the character of God. That's inconsistent with the character of God. You asked a question earlier about Moses. I'm sorry, Mary and Joseph. And I wanted to say at that particular time, there are a lot of things people don't believe God can do and will do, but Balaam would tell you God will make your ass talk in the book of Numbers. If he needs to, God can do whatever he wants to do.
Yes. I agree. All right, I'm gonna fall back a little bit because I don't want nobody to think I'm debating y'all. Y'all came up here to really set the record straight against the other people and to refute. So I'm gonna fall back a little bit. I don't want to make my brothers run or nothing. Why?
I got a question for you.
Yes, go ahead, brother.
You did admit that rape was not in the text, though, right?
There is scripture in there that where you can find.
No. I'm talking about the text that you pulled.
Oh, this one here. You saying?
Correct.
Number one.
What word for you means rape in these verses?
Okay,
just
let me
for the sake of the audience.
All right, let me bring it to a head. Bring her into your home and have her shave her head, trim her nails. Now, this is all force right here. All of this is forced on her. All right. Shaving her head and have her shave her head. Listen to the words. Have her shave her head. This is false. Make her shave her damn head. That's false. Make her trim.
I'm asking for the word that you believe means rape.
I'm coming to it. And
Okay.
put aside the clothes that she was wearing when captured. After she had lived in your house and mourned her father and mother for a full month, here we go. Then you may go to her. And in other scriptures, it say, then you may go in unto her. You see? But this one is saying, then you may go to her and make her, and you be her husband, and she be your wife. That's what that's talking about. If you get the King James Version, it will literally say, then you can go in unto her. Other scriptures say, you have violated her, where it says, because you have dishonored her at the end. When you read other books, hold on. When you read other books say they don't use the word dishonor, they use the word violated. And I know y'all know that. They say because you may let her go because you have violated her. That's what it says. What is the violation? What is the dishonored? Why do you think they said let her go since you have dishonored her?
You're skipping over what I'm asking you.
Right, but how did you dishonor her, Reggie? How?
Look, go back to verse 13. Are you saying a husband raped his wife? I'm trying to get, is that what you're saying?
See, listen for a minute, brother. Watch this.
It says, look what it says.
I know where you're going.
It says you may go, this is what you pulled up. You pulled this up, not me. You may go to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. So I'm asking you, are you saying that the husband raped his wife?
All right, here's the answer to you. So do you agree that if you have sex with a woman out here,
answer a question with a question.
I'm gonna answer it. Do you agree just because you have sex with a woman out here that she's automatically your wife? Do you subscribe to that?
According to this text, the text says you go to her, be her husband, and she'll be your wife.
Because what the text is saying, once you go inside of her,
Look, okay, hold on.
See,
so we don't make it a moot point. Hold on. I'm
not
going to agree with you for a second.
He is not her husband yet, but when he go into her, he becomes her husband.
Okay.
It's not her. It's not like he's having sex with his wife. No, he's conquering. He's taking it by force.
Where does the text say that?
Oh, brother, man, come on, bro. You can. All right, brother. You win, brother.
Text don't say that.
That's
all I'm saying.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother. What's up?
Maybe you're not reading it with the understanding of what's actually being said. Now that can be a problem also.
Okay.
Let me just say this. First and foremost, God has never condoned any type of sexual activity outside of a lawful marriage. That's number one. And the only way that an Israelite would be morally justified in having sexual intercourse with a female captive was if he made her his wife, granting to her the rights and privileges due to a wife. Now, notice this.